Beneath the shimmer of glass towers and the hum of endless neon, Hong Kong lives, misunderstood, mislabeled, and misjudged. To outsiders, it's a headline or a skyline, a city of protests and profits. But beneath that image lies a deeper truth, a heartbeat shaped by survival, creativity, and contradiction. This is not a place that fits neatly into one story. It's a city that defies the lens through which the world insists on seeing it. Because to understand Hong Kong, you must look beyond the skyline, into the souls who built it, and the truths hidden beneath its myths. The first lie begins with geography. The world looks at a map, sees the border, and assumes sameness. But Hong Kong is not just another Chinese city. It is a cultural hybrid, where East met West, and neither fully won. Cantonese opera echoes between colonial stone, Taoist temples rise beside glass towers, and the people move through identities with the rhythm of tides. To call it simply Chinese is to erase the layers that history carved into its soul. For 150 years, it lived as a paradox, Chinese in blood, British in system, and uniquely Hong Kong in spirit. Here, freedom was not imported, it was adapted. Capitalism was not Western, it was survival refined through resilience. And even after the handover, that blend of pragmatism and rebellion still defines its people. Yes, Hong Kong is part of China, but within that truth lives another. It thinks differently, speaks differently, and remembers differently. Its skyline is Chinese, but its tempo is global. Its past belongs to empires, but its identity belongs only to itself. To call Hong Kong just another Chinese city is to misunderstand what it means to live between worlds, to belong, yet never fully. Because Hong Kong was never meant to be ordinary. It was built to stand between, a bridge, a battleground, and a mirror to the world's own contradictions. Hong Kong was always a financial hub. That's the lie the world repeats when they look at its skyline, as if those towers and trading floors have always stood above the harbor. In truth, Hong Kong was born from salt, silk, and sheer survival. Its rise began not in gleaming banks, but in the hands of refugees and traders who fled war and hunger. They brought nothing but desperation and determination, carving a city from rock and tide. At first, Hong Kong was chaos, a free port that thrived because it had no rules. Colonial ambitions met Chinese resilience, and together they built something neither side had planned. Opium merchants, street hawkers, and shipbuilders filled its narrow streets, trading anything that could move: silk, silver, sugar, or secrets. It wasn't wealth that defined Hong Kong back then. It was willpower, the instinct to adapt when everything else failed. Only decades later did the world of finance take root, when the city had already mastered the art of reinvention. The skyscrapers came after the struggle, the suits after the sweat. To say Hong Kong was always a financial hub is to erase the fishermen, factory girls, and risk-takers who built its foundation. This city was never gifted wealth. It earned it. One gamble, one generation, one storm at a time. Lie number 3. Hong Kong's success came from Britain. For decades, the world has believed that Hong Kong's prosperity was a colonial gift, a triumph of British governance and Western vision. But beneath the polished myths of empire lies a harder truth. Britain built the port, not the purpose. The colony was never meant to flourish for its people, but to serve the empire's commerce. Hong Kong was a harbor of strategy, a convenient checkpoint between East and West, profit and power. The heartbeat of progress didn't come from London. It came from the restless hands of its own people. Chinese workers, refugees, and dreamers transformed hardship into momentum. Through sweatshops, shipping lanes, and street markets, they carved identity out of limitation. The British may have set the rules, but Hong Kongers rewrote the game, building an economy on resilience, risk, and relentless drive. To say the empire made Hong Kong is to misunderstand what made it extraordinary. It wasn't order, it was adaptation. It wasn't inheritance, it was reinvention. Every skyline that now pierces the clouds, every deal that defines global trade, was born from a city that refused to stay a pawn. Hong Kong did not thrive because of empire. It thrived after breaking free of its shadow. Lie number 4. The belief that Hong Kong has no culture of its own, that it merely borrows from others. This is perhaps the most subtle and dangerous misconception, born from the city's fluid identity between East and West. But Hong Kong's culture is not imitation, it's fusion perfected. It's the rhythm of Cantonese opera echoing through neon-lit streets, the aroma of cha-chan tung tea houses blending with skyscraper skylines, the quiet persistence of local artists painting history on concrete walls. To walk through Hong Kong is to witness a living archive of resilience, humor, and pride. Its language, Cantonese, carries poetry in its tones. Its cinema gave the world legends who defined Asian storytelling. Its food tells tales of migration, survival, and defiance. Even its architecture, bamboo scaffolding beside glass towers, speaks of balance between tradition and innovation. Every inch of the city hums with identity born not from purity, but from adaptation. Hong Kong's culture is not bound by borders or eras. It thrives in the in-between. It is global yet local, loud yet introspective, changing yet eternal. To say it has no culture is to misunderstand culture itself. For in Hong Kong, culture isn't something preserved in museums. It's something lived, breathed, and constantly remade. This city doesn't echo others. It creates its own sound. Line number 5. The world believes everyone in Hong Kong is rich, that the city's skyline reflects the wealth of all who live beneath it. But the truth hides in the shadows between the towers. For every penthouse with a view of Victoria Harbour, there are thousands of subdivided flats, cage homes, where families sleep beside metal bars and shared walls thin as paper. Hong Kong's wealth is real, yes, but so is its inequality, sharp as glass, glittering and brutal in equal measure. The myth of universal prosperity was built on Hong Kong's rapid rise, a fishing village turned financial titan in just a century. Yet behind the success stories stand delivery riders, street vendors, and elderly workers who never saw the promised trickle of fortune. The city's strength has always come from its people, those who endure 12-hour days, who queue for housing, who find pride even in struggle. They are the invisible architects of the dream the world admires. To believe everyone in Hong Kong is rich is to miss what truly defines the city, not luxury, but endurance. Its beauty lies not in its banks, but in its balance, a society caught between opulence and hardship, where hope survives even in the narrowest rooms. Wealth here is not measured in currency, but in spirit, the quiet determination to keep moving forward, no matter how small the space left to stand. Line number 6. The world says Hong Kong is only about money, that its heart beats to the rhythm of markets, not emotions. But beneath the neon lights and trading screens lies a city of quiet souls and hidden depth. Money may flow through its veins, but humanity fills its lungs. To see Hong Kong only as an economic machine is to miss the heartbeat of its people, the laughter in street markets, the incense curling through temple air, the devotion of generations who built more than profit. They built pride. Commerce gave Hong Kong its name, but community gave it its meaning. The shopkeeper who opens at dawn, the fisherman who still sails from Sai Kung, the tea master who teaches calm amid chaos. These are the unseen faces behind the city's famous skyline. Money keeps the city alive, but culture keeps it human. Here, a bowl of congee shared between friends can mean more than $1 million deal. Hong Kong's real wealth isn't counted in ledgers or stock charts. It's found in the pulse of its streets, the resilience of its people, and the balance they've struck between ambition and belonging. The world sees finance. Hong Kong feels life. It is not just a marketplace. It is a mirror of human endurance, proving that even in a city built on commerce, the heart still matters most. Line number 7. The world says Hong Kong is nothing but skyscrapers and crowds, a maze of glass towers stacked above restless streets. But beyond the skyline lies a living landscape, mountains wrapped in mist, fishing villages frozen in time, and temples whispering prayers older than the city itself. The concrete may define its horizon, but the soul of Hong Kong breathes in the spaces between. To the traveler who ventures past Central, the illusion breaks. There are forest trails that echo with cicadas, hidden waterfalls where the city's noise dissolves into stillness, and islands where life slows to a human rhythm. The people who climb Victoria Peak at dawn, who light incense at Wong Tai Sin, who linger in the quiet alleys of Tai O, they know that Hong Kong's story isn't written in steel and glass, but in soil, salt, and silence. Even among the crowds, solitude survives. The city moves fast, but its people carry patience like an art form, waiting for trams, sipping tea, watching the tide roll in from Kowloon Bay. Hong Kong is not just a skyline. It is a paradox, a world where chaos and calm coexist, where a single city holds both the hum of ambition and the hush of eternity. Line number 8. The world believes the protests defined Hong Kong, as if a few years of turmoil could erase centuries of identity. But Hong Kong was never a city of one moment. It is a place of endurance, where people have learned to stand firm in storms, rebuild after collapse, and continue without losing their rhythm. The protests were not the city. They were a heartbeat, loud, brief, and human, within something far older and deeper. What the world saw on their screens was anger. What they didn't see was resilience. The morning after, when shops reopened, trains ran, and life flowed again like water through cracks in stone. Beneath the headlines, people still helped their neighbors, bowed to ancestors, and went to the sea to breathe. The protests were real, yes, but so is the quiet strength that followed. The courage to keep living when the world is watching for your fall. Hong Kong's true identity isn't written in slogans or smoke. It lives in its people, adaptable, patient, proud. The city has always been more than its conflicts. Its heart beats in the rhythm of its persistence, a reminder that while struggle may scar a place, it never defines it. Hong Kong endures, not as a symbol of defiance, but as proof that hope can whisper louder than chaos. Line number 9. The world believes Hong Kong has lost its freedom, as if liberty can vanish overnight. But Hong Kong's freedom has never been written in laws alone. It lives in the habits, hearts, and choices of its people. Even as the city changes under new realities, its soul, independent, inventive, restless, continues to find ways to breathe. Freedom here isn't declared. It's practiced, quietly and daily. In the narrow alleys and high towers, people still chase dreams on their own terms. Artists painting what words cannot say, entrepreneurs building futures from small ideas, and families gathering in quiet defiance of despair. Rules can shift, but the instinct to adapt, to carve out a personal space of expression, remains unstoppable. Hong Kong's people have always turned constraints into creativity, turning walls into canvases and silence into subtle rebellion. The city's freedom is no longer loud. It is layered, complex, and deeply human. It exists in persistence, in the simple act of continuing. Even when watched, Hong Kong refuses to be still. Its spirit is not owned by politics or borders. The city breathes between the lines, proving that freedom isn't always something you shout. Sometimes, it's something you live. Line number 10. Many believe Hong Kong's story is over, as though history can close on a living city. But Hong Kong's tale was never meant to end. It was meant to evolve. This city has always been a paradox, torn between worlds, yet thriving in the space between. Every setback, every transformation has been followed by renewal. Its skyline, its people, its pulse, all whisper the same truth. Hong Kong endures. Even now, when outsiders speak of decline, the city continues to rewrite itself quietly. Startups rise where factories once stood. Artists turn forgotten corners into galleries. Cafes buzz with young voices daring to imagine a new kind of belonging. Hong Kong's story isn't one of defeat, it's one of reinvention. Like its harbor tides, it pulls back only to surge forward again, reshaping the shoreline of identity with every wave. Those who say it's over misunderstand what Hong Kong is made of. It's not built from politics or contracts, but from people who never stop moving. The story doesn't end because the spirit refuses to. Beneath the noise, beneath the headlines, the city still hums, alive, restless, waiting. Hong Kong doesn't end. It transforms, as it always has. In the end, Hong Kong is not a chapter closed, but a heartbeat that keeps time with the future. Its alleys and towers hum with the quiet defiance of life refusing to fade. Beyond the politics, beyond the headlines, the city still breathes. Through art, through innovation, through people who remember what it means to belong between worlds. This is the rhythm of Hong Kong, fragile yet unbroken, restless yet grounded. A story not of what was lost, but what continues. Here on Asia Within, we look beyond the surface, where truth hides in the spaces between history and hope. If this story spoke to you, share it, subscribe, and stay with us as we uncover the unseen pulse of Asia, one heartbeat, one truth, one city at a time. Because in every shadow, there is still light. And in Hong Kong, that light still burns.